The bulls are testing the death cross. Will they succeed? Yes or no? More information will follow. Hello Adrian and welcome back once again to my channel. It is 7:30 p.m. UTC plus 8 and welcome everybody around the world who are watching this stream. We are on, what day are we today? We are Friday. No, not Friday. It's Thursday. We are Thursday and we still have one more working day before traditional markets will be closing. So it's going to be quite interesting tomorrow. And of course, our Bitcoin chart is going to be closing as well in a couple of days. And it will be the first week, sort of like the first week of the new month, and we will see what is going on and what is going on over there. So first of all, let's welcome in the hardcore crew. Hi Henry, hi Gerson, welcome, and the rest of the hardcore crew is maybe a little bit late today or they've given up already and they're not joining in anymore. That's maybe a possibility as well. Anyways, let's take a look on the COVID numbers before we move in. Well, maybe some more people are going to join into the stream. Let's take a look. Oh, that's this sound here. Hi Nikolai. So we are close to 2.7 million cases on the US and the US, close to 1.4 million cases now in Brazil, Russia, yeah, pretty much the same in the other countries though. So Russia, India and so on, they have been quite stable so far, the last couple of days it seems. Hi MJ, hope you're doing well as well on this Thursday evening. Let's take a look on how it looks on the charts. Boom. Let's take a look. Boom. We are at, so in total we have close to 10.7 million cases around the world. Hi Gita. And in the US, look at this chart, still not good. Brazil, still not good. Russia, not good at all. India, definitely not good. Peru, not good. And Chile, definitely not good as well. So yeah, in terms of like the COVID situation, things are not looking good. What does that mean? When people when the COVID situation is doing well, you've guessed it, the stock market is going like crazy, upwards like crazy. And if we take a quick look on the traditional markets, well, let's take a look on Nasdaq here. As you can see, broke out of this falling channel towards the upside, and we have, yes, you have guessed it, another all-time high. So I will just mark that once again because it's a new all-time high. Just to show you, maybe we could show it on the weekly chart. It will be showing a little bit better. And as you can see here, wow, look at this. So after a gravestone doji candle, this is what we are currently forming on the new weekly candle. Do realize one thing. We still have a couple of days to go. The week is not over yet, but yeah, if this if we close the weekly candle, the new weekly candle like this, obviously this is a super bullish sign, of course, if it ends like this. But there's still a couple more days to go, so let's see how we end up. But this weekly candle on Nasdaq is just currently is just insane, right? It's just insane. On the 4-hour, yep, we're looking like this at the moment. There's one thing that we have to be looking at, and the Stokes on Nasdaq is currently let's just say high, very high right now. Oh, it's raining right now in Bangkok. I don't think it's raining here right now. It's not raining here right now in the Philippines. So yeah, the Stokes are very high right now over there. Another thing, the SMI is actually starting to flash green on the back end right now. As you can see, every time the SMI starts to flash green, it's actually a toppy signal, right? Like they're saying like, oh, it could be a potential top, but this can go on for a little while before it eventually stops. So don't put that immediately as right now, right away. But just looking at the Stokes, it looks quite very high, and maybe a small pullback could be in the books for the traditional markets as well, right? And then on the S&P, very similar scenario. S&P broke out of this channel as well, as you can see, and moving up like crazy, but very similar, of course, like the Nasdaq chart. We can see that the stocks are extremely high. If we make a, I'm gonna put a line here so that we know, as you can see here, we can see here, yeah. So yeah, just looking back, so this was a top the 9th of June, 4th of June, and 26th of May. So let's take a look what the price was there. So 26th of May, this was 26th of May, so that was a top here, and we did make a small drop towards the downside, not that much, but well, this is traditional markets, right? So hi Darren, let's take a look. We did drop a 1% right here, and then let's take a look on the second top that we have here on the 3rd of June, but it went down a little bit only. The 3rd of June, that was here. Oh no, it skyrocketed through. It didn't drop at all. Boom boom here. Then on the 9th of June, we should have dropped there, I guess, maybe. 9th of June. 9th of June is this where we actually started a huge correction from there, actually. So from the 9th of June back down here, that was like a close to a 10% drop. So that's quite substantial, right? So that top here, so we've analyzed this top, that was nothing basically. This top was something, and we are here once again at this resistance line that we're seeing right now for the S&P. So well, do we get something like this once again, where we just pull back and pull back up, or do we get something like this where we get a serious correction towards the downside, right? So that's basically what we're looking at. And like I said, very similar also the SMI. We are starting to see a green background. As you can see, green background means, you know, a toppy signal on the SMI. It's pretty simple as that. Also, of course, we can see that the horizontal historical volatility percentile on the, even on the traditional markets, is flashing. It means, yeah, volatility is out there. So it's going to be quite interesting, I think, in about 2 hours, no, in about 1 hour, sorry, at 8:30 p.m. for me, when the traditional markets are going to be opening. I mean 9:30, in 2 hours, when the traditional markets or the New York Stock Exchange is going to be opening, and what will be happening over there. But right now, as you can see, very bullish. We are at 312 right now for the S&P, and we closed yesterday at 310, I think. Yeah, 310. So we will be breaking this zone, and most likely the bulls are targeting this zone here at 319. Will we get there? We'll find out if we're gonna get there or not. But it's looking really crazy on the traditional markets, way more crazy than with Bitcoin, to be honest. But yeah. Anyways, so let's follow up on Bitcoin. Let's see what's new first on TradingView. Nothing much. It's Pine coding. So let's see what's new on Bitcoin. And while the only thing that I wanted to show was this here, because there was somebody, I don't remember who it was, I think it was Tina, who was asking me about the stock to flow model, if it was correct, yes or no. Well, if you want to read more about this, you can just look it up. It is an article from CoinDesk, from Nico Cordero, who's basically saying that the calculation, the mathematical calculations between the stock to flow is not correct, and it has its flaws. And I do agree with him. It does have its flaws. Doesn't mean that it's completely false or incorrect. I don't think that's the case as well. I do believe that it has some correct fundamental ideas and principles that are correct. But like I said, I do not believe that this value or this scarcity computation is really correct. So would I 100% believe what the stock to flow market model is correct? I would say no. Do I believe that some part of it is correct? Of course I do believe that it's some part is correct, because I am a true believer of because the scarcity does affect the price of the value of Bitcoin. We only have 21 million Bitcoins, meaning the less supply, the less people that are interested in it, the more usage, the more utility, the more holders. Of course, the value is going to go up. I mean, it's very much the similar thing, and it's actually an improved version of gold if you are looking at it like that. But stock to flow model, yeah. There, as you can see, if you go over the article, as you can see, this is quite obvious. When one extends the model into the near future by 2045, the model estimates the worth of Bitcoin will be worth 235 million billion 235 billion or something like that. So yeah, I don't think that's a possible number, right? Even though it's very, very far in the future, 2045. It's you know, it's a bit far-fetched. Let's put it like that. Anyways, you can go over it, over the article. It actually has a lot of good ideas and a good shows. I mean, reasoning why it is not correct. So I kind of agree with this article. There's a lot of things in the stock to flow model that is most likely incorrect. Anyways, let's go back into our Bitcoin analysis. Where are we at? Well, nothing nothing that much changed that much. We are still here. Yes, we are still here. We are grinding towards this support that we have been grinding on for like since the 25th of June. So that is like a whole week right now, right? So there's a whole week that we are here grinding this support level of this channel, and it has not broken just yet, but it has not broken up towards the upside as well, right? So still waiting for a conclusion, but the conclusion should be very near now, of course, because we are ending, as you can see, we are nearing this apex or this triangle, and at one point either it's going to be breaking towards the downside or like this, or of course it's going to be breaking towards the upside like this out of this triangle. So one of those two possibilities is basically what we are waiting to see. And like I said, how can we find or see some confirmations? A daily close below this body here, below the $9,000 would confirm it. So if we get a daily close candle below that 9,000 or below this previous body point here, that would confirm a break of this support line, or just the price wicking below this this amount here. I'm not looking at this one because, like I said, it was on a Saturday, and you know, it could be still a fake out during the weekend, like I've explained before already. If we are looking at this pattern, this could be our low, and could be our higher low. This is a higher low, this could be a fake out, and this could be our higher low, and then basically we could be going up at like that. That could be a possible scenario, right? As long if we are not breaking, that is the scenario. On the other hand, we have our high right here, we have our lower high right here, we have our lower high right here, and yeah, the question is, if once we break this one, of course we have our higher high, and then the pattern is broken as well, but towards the upside. So those are the two scenarios that we have been looking at for quite some time now. Now, very interesting is, of course, yeah, we basically are still waiting for this confirmation just now, right? So yesterday, well, no, the last couple of days, what I've been talking about is about this death cross on the 4-hour chart. So we have this green line crossing the purple line, and then what basically usually what happens is we get either a test towards the green line, and that is what happened on the 30th of June, and but the second possibility would be a retest of the purple line, and that is basically what happened yesterday. But as you can see, we are still in this pretty much in the same pattern. We are still in this rising wedge, sort of a rising wedge, and either we, from this rising wedge, either we break up towards the top line, or we break down, of course, very, very and the probabilities are still yes, are still more towards the downside than the upside, because, well, all the moving averages are still angling towards the downside, keeping the pressure towards the downside, right? So as long as we don't break the 200 simple moving average on the 4 hour, which is this white line here, the pressure is still towards the downside rather than the upside. This means that, does it mean that we cannot reverse or anything like that? Of course we can reverse, right? But we want to see the price action confirm that first before we can actually make that decision, right? So if we can clearly see it here on the daily chart. Either we do this, we break up and break out of this, or we just go down and break to down below this red line and then towards our green box towards the downside, right? So those are the scenarios that we are looking at, and I know it has been very, 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 very slow and very tiresome, but that's basically what the traders, the traders or the people want. They want to bore you out of your mind, and then of course you get that volume spike, and that volume spike is most likely going to be coming very, very soon. Not only can we see that we are nearing this apex, right? So some resolution is going to be happening there, but we can also see it on the volume profile. As you can see right here, if we make a wedge from up, as you can see here, oh sorry, I moved it. Okay, let's make it a little bit prettier, so you can see right here. As you can see right here, we are, yeah, it's usually what happens is around 75%. It usually breaks out of the pattern. Doesn't mean that it doesn't, obviously it doesn't show any direction. It just basically says that there will be potentially a very big move, because volume keeps on dropping down, and then at one point it's going to be, you know, a big candle. But is it going to be a red candle or is it going to be a green candle? That's basically what the main question is. So that is what we are looking at, and that's what we are trying to wait for and trying to confirm, right? So yeah, in terms of like position or anything like that, for me, nothing, once again, nothing has changed. We did get a little scare, well, not really a little scare, but we did get that test here towards the EMA 200, and that was very, very near of, like, you know, breaking and going up towards the upside, but it did not happen, right? It did not happen, and that's a little bit, maybe that's a tip or a hint for the traders out there. When you don't get the confirmation, you should not be, you know, adjusting, or at least for myself, I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting it ride. So when I've created my master plan from the start, I will just let it roll and let it happen. If it's wrong, then, you know, there's always, you know, you take the hit. In my case, there's no hit or anything like that, but most of the time you will lose a little bit because of your stop loss or anything like that. So you take your hit and you just, you know, move on. You just move on, right? That's basically how it should be. Yes, Nikolai, it was very, very close, right? I think we were at 2,900. How much was it exactly? I didn't even check what the exact amount was. 9,296. So yeah, it was like very close, very close. It was very close to being stopped out. I'm the same as you, Nikolai, but all I'm saying is there's a lot of people who will be panicking, and a lot of people be adjusting and this and that. You should really be prepare yourself for the plan and stick to your plan rather than doing crazy or stupid stuff along the way. But for now, really nothing has really changed just yet. We are waiting for that particular spike, either towards the upside or downside, and we'll find out most likely, but I keep saying that, but most likely this week we should be seeing that. Now, since there is quite a strong correlation with the traditional markets, right? We are paying quite a lot of attention to the traditional market, and like I said, the traditional markets at this point right now, as you can see, is starting to have quite a substantial show that we are, nearing or quite toppy, right? Doesn't mean that that it's going to stop. No, it doesn't mean that at all. But you know, it shows some sort of like a pullback. And if we are looking at the current scenario and the current price, so when the stock market went up like crazy, right? It's you can see here we went from 9,740 all the way up to breaking all-time high 10,300. So while that was happening on the traditional market, our Bitcoin did this basically, this pump from 8,800 to 9,200. So that's like a that's like a $400 move. So very little. And I think it's important to kind of understand what how you should be looking at Bitcoin versus the traditional market. And as you know, there's quite it's called correlation. It's correlation, and that means the direction of the traditional market will define the direction of Bitcoin, but it doesn't mean it will be in the same amount, right? That's not what correlation mean. So like I said, I consider Bitcoin like an altcoin of basically the stock market. And it's very similar to like an altcoin versus Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin, for example, when Bitcoin goes up a lot, most of the times the altcoin and USD pairing is going to go up as well, but it's not going to be as much. And when Bitcoin is going down a certain amount, usually the altcoin is going to be going down more or faster than Bitcoin, right? So that's Bitcoin being Big Daddy basically, and the altcoin being the shitcoin, the altcoin basically. Not every altcoin is a shitcoin, but you know what I mean. Well, very similar is the traditional stock market, right? So the stock market went up really fast, and yeah, Bitcoin obviously went up as well. So in terms of correlation, it is correct, right? It went up as well. Correlation is there, but very little in comparison with the stock market now. So that means when the stock market is going to make a move, and if we are seeing that it's quite toppy, and if Bitcoin is going to make a move towards the downside in correlation with the traditional market, the dump is most likely going to be a little bit bigger than on the traditional market. So that's basically what I wanted to say in terms of correlation. Other than that, this is what I've also told you guys yesterday. I'm looking at this descending triangle that broke down on the RSI, and the question was, do we break up and back into our triangle, yes or no? And as you can see right now, we are still getting rejected from that spot once again. So yeah, as long as I don't see confirmation of the RSI breaking back up into this triangle, I stick to my case, and I still think that this is going to be a rejection. But yeah, with the way that the stock market is going right now, it's quite exciting, to be honest. It's quite exciting to be saying like, well, most likely it's going to go down, but I will stick to my point. I will stick to my guns until I see something different happening, right? That's what trading is all about. On the CME chart, we can actually see exactly the same thing. Actually, a little bit clearer on the RSI as well. We have this descending triangle that broke down towards the downside, and as you can see, very clearly a rejection right now from that triangles as well towards the downside, right? So, like I said, it's all about being patient. The thing is, so now that we have our death cross touch from EMA 55 and our EMA 200, there's no way back anymore. So meaning, if we do go back up there, most likely, very likely, the EMA 200 is going to be breaking, and we are going to be, well, at least I am going to be stopped out of my shorting position, and then the plan is completely ruined, and we will most likely be seeing a break up towards the top price, towards the upside rather than the downside. But of course, if that happens, like I said, I don't really care about anything. I'll just long it from the breakouts, right? So that's the plan. I'll just wait until I see, if in case that I get stopped out, I'll just wait it out, and then if I do see that this this green box is broken towards the upside, I'll just enter a long from there. There's, like I said, I have zero you know, affinity towards like being a moon boy or being a doom boy. I just care about the volatility of the price, right, rather than anything else. So yeah, I will be waiting for the next couple of days, once again waiting for the next couple of days to see a move. If we are going to be right, then yeah, we're going to be right. Our master plan is going to be right. But if we are not, then you know, we are just going to be adjusting and longing the breakout of this green box here. So still waiting for that big green spike, and then adjust accordingly whenever that happens. Now, I'm gonna show you something really interesting and really cool, and that's basically quite advanced, and I don't think a lot of people know that or understand how it's possible as well to do these things on TradingView. So I hope you enjoy and you learn about this as well. So let me show you the chart. So this is basically on the top. This is just Bitcoin on the top, and on the bottom this is Nasdaq. As you can see, Nasdaq futures divided by Bitcoin. So let me give you an explanation. So basically, this is Nasdaq price divided by the Bitcoin price. What does that mean? It basically shows you how much Nasdaq shares you can buy with one Bitcoin, basically. So let me put it on the weekly chart so you can understand maybe what I mean. Okay. So as you can see here, the chart has been basically going down pretty much all the time overall, meaning that the value of Bitcoin has been going up in comparison with the value with Nasdaq, because you can buy more Nasdaq with a lower amount of Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, it is very important to see. For Bitcoin, it's very important to notice that the more that it goes down, the more value Bitcoin has. And as you can see here, when it was at its bottom, it was in December 2017, and that was when Bitcoin, of course, was $20,000, something like that. That was the bottom. And of course, in 2019, you remember when Bitcoin was like $3,000, that was here. Then it went up here, as you can see. That was our bearish market. Actually, we still have a pretty much bearish market all the way, with some bounces as you can see here. It went down. That's when we went to like 14,000, something like that, and so on and so on. So let's go back into our daily so I can show you what I wanted to show you, but I just wanted to explain a little bit what that means. Let's go here. I'll try to put it on the same scale so it looks okay. Almost. Yeah, okay. So basically this chart, whenever this spikes up, then you should look at this like this. Money from the Nasdaq is flowing into Bitcoin. Sorry, when this goes up, basically money from Bitcoin goes into Nasdaq, and Bitcoin is getting sold. And when this goes down, then basically money from Nasdaq is flowing into Bitcoin. That's how you have to look at things, right? So why is this happening? Well, why is this happening? Well, you have to understand that let's say you have a budget of like $1,000. $900 or even more, $900 or $950 is most likely going into stocks and something like that. $50 are going to cryptocurrencies, and $50 is going to gold or something like that. That's how basically how most investors, they will just be diversifying their portfolio, right? So whenever what we want to see is Nasdaq money going into Bitcoin or vice versa to be seeing big moves, right? So as you can see right here, we had this huge spike on the 12th of March, right? Huge spike towards the upside, meaning money is going from Bitcoin into Nasdaq, right? Goes up very high, and that's when we had that huge drop towards the downside as well in Bitcoin, as you can see. And then as you can see, we had a slow downwards movement, meaning money went back into Bitcoin once again, right? And then you can see here the price action went into the upside, as you can see. Now, the most important thing that I wanted to show is the last couple of days, right? The last couple of movements and last couple of days, as you can see here, momentum is going towards the upside, as you can see. What does that mean? Well, that's what I'm trying to explain. Money is moving from Bitcoin back into Nasdaq because Nasdaq is now just moving or just generating more profits, right? So people are selling or moving their monies or their investments from Bitcoin back into Nasdaq, and that's basically how you can see the correlation and how you can see how money actually moves from one asset to another asset. And that's one of the reasons why I am still not that bullish on Bitcoin, because as long as we can see this trend towards going toward the upside, we will see the trend of the price going towards the downside. But if this goes towards the downside here over the next, let's say, a couple of days, then of course I will be bullish on Bitcoin. So that's definitely something you have to be paying attention on, just looking at the Nasdaq divided by Bitcoin, because first of all, it's very valid because the correlation is very high between both assets, and secondly, Nasdaq is where the leading indicator right now and where the money is at. So yeah, it's just a very, very important chart to be looking at if you want to be seeing like where the money flow is going into, right? So once again, if you see this going down, price is going up on Bitcoin. If you keep seeing things going down, very good, price on Bitcoin is still going up. If you see this starting to go slowly up, it means that Bitcoin is slowly gonna go down because money is moving from one asset to the other. So yeah, I think that's something that most people are not paying attention on, and I think a lot of people are not aware of that kind of correlation, right? Well, Nasdaq is traditional market, Nikolai. That's like the biggest one. So yeah. Anyways, that's what the correlation is. But this is Nasdaq divided by Bitcoin, by the way. So I think you're not you didn't follow from the start what I was explaining. This is not the Nasdaq chart. It's the Nasdaq chart divided by the Bitcoin chart, to be clear, right? So it's completely different than just looking at the Nasdaq chart or something like that. So the reason why you can do that is because the correlation is high. Okay, let's move back into our Bitcoin and see what our expected move chart is showing. Expected move chart is showing the following. What is the expected move chart? Constant. Once again, I don't think you get it. What I'm saying, they are very correlated. The chart that I showed, I hate it when people don't understand and immediately judge. The chart that I showed is the Nasdaq divided by Bitcoin. You know, it's a formula. I will show it once again. NQ divided by XBT USD divided by Bitcoin, right? It's to see where the money is flowing from one asset to the other asset. So you divide it, the pairing, you divide the pairing. It's not the Nasdaq chart. Okay, thank you. Anyways, let's go into the CME chart. Expected moves. First standard deviation to the top side is 9,291. That once again does not resolve anything because we are waiting for that break above basically 9,450-ish, 9,500. That first standard deviation to the downside is 9,087 towards the downside. as you can see right now, it's pretty much sideways, so there's no there's nothing much you can see right there. In terms of like the Stokes, we are here at one of the potential reversal or potential resistance lines. So yeah, that's a potential resistance line there, and RSI is still above the EMA. Yes, J Constant, but you can be frustrated, but there's no reason to be, if you're a serious trader, you should not be caring that much about losses. You should be caring about, like, preparing yourself better to avoid those losses, and also accepting losses, because losses will always be there. I've had losses before. I will always have. Nobody is gonna make 100% trades and be correct all the time. So if you can't handle that, then anyways, daily stocks are actually curling up right now, and going towards this on this support trend line right here. So can we break towards the upside? Yes, we can. So it's not impossible or anything like that. Definitely not impossible. Of course, yes, HVP is flashing. FU HVP FU. Do say that you do see that the SMI is curling towards the downside and going towards the downside. So sentiment is actually slowly, very slowly going towards the downside. Boom. Why is this showing like this? Boom, boom. RSI is actually on the daily is actually crossing towards below the EMA right now, so that's quite interesting. Let's take a look on the 4 hour. 4 hour, yeah, I think this is quite interesting as well. 4 hour, I've drawn the resistance line. As you can see, it's curling down right now. So let's see. It could easily do the same as yesterday, right, where it started to curl down, as you can see here, and then immediately make a V-shaped correction towards the upside. But like I said, it really depends on what will happen on the traditional markets a little bit later on or in the next couple of days. But for me, it's starting to look toppy, and I'm not saying that it's going to crash the traditional markets or anything like that. Actually, I would be looking for to long the pullback. I do think that, but I think it's going to have a pullback. But the problem is, with that pullback, most likely Bitcoin is going to have a bigger pullback because of the traditional. When the traditional markets go down for, like, let's say it goes down like 3 or 5%, most likely Bitcoin is going to go down 6, 7, or 8% or something like that, right? So that's basically what I'm looking at. Right now, below the EMA right now on the 4 hour as well. So definitely pressure from the top side towards the downside. Does this mean anything? I mean, it's still the same as the last couple of days, and we are still waiting for a resolution of this pattern. Not only of this pattern, more importantly of this pattern, to be honest, right? More important of this pattern. So yeah. Sadly enough, that's basically what we are still waiting on. Like I said, once I create my master plan, I will not change from it. So I will just wait. The only thing that I'm seeing is the traditional markets are very bullish right now, which makes me kind of worried, right? For Bitcoin. But on the other hand, we do see that it's a little bit on the toppy hand as well on the traditional market, and that makes me more comfortable, let's say, for Bitcoin. But on the for the rest, yeah, it's very little to be saying, right? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, one thing that's quite good is the Hurst indicator, or the Hurst channels, are actually showing really nicely what the levels are. And as you can see here, the short cycle bottom is 8,992. So that's that $9,000 line, right? So if we close the daily candle below that amount, most likely we'll be going towards the lower end. And as you can see here, the medium cycle bottom is at 8,421, and that's basically what we are expecting, right? If we break down from that level, going towards the 8.4k, 8.5k, whatever, somewhere around that range, right? And the top side, as you can see here, the cycle top is 9,440. That's that green box that we are talking about, right? That's the this green box here. If we break out of this green box here, 9,450, that's yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. And then the medium cycle top is 10,400, as we can say, and that's that 10,500 range that we have been talking about for a really long time as well. So things are really setting up to be, you know, to be reaching near a conclusion very, very soon. And like I said, most likely one of the two scenarios is going to be happening. Either we go back up towards the 10.5k, or we are going to be crashing down towards like 8.5, 8.6k, something around that area. And yep, the Hearst cycles are showing pretty much exactly that. But as long as we don't see the price action do it, then we can talk theory, or we can talk all about that for a long time. But oscillator, as you can see here, this is actually quite important as well. It got rejected from the yellow line, or from the slow oscillator, and still we are in the bearish zone. So the pressure is still on the price to be pushing the price down, rather the price up. Very similar as well for the MACD. Let's show the MACD here. The MACD, as you can see, still below the green line, or the zero line. There is some histogram is showing a little bit of you know, movement towards the upside, but it's still, as you can see, still pretty much sideways rather than going up or anything like that. So still looks downwards to me rather than up. So yeah. With what Nasdaq is showing, and definitely this, like I said, this is very important. I see that the Nasdaq divided by the Bitcoin price is showing a momentum towards the upside, and that usually means a momentum towards the downside for Bitcoin, because the money is moving from Bitcoin into Nasdaq, and it's quite normal, because like I said, if we are looking at Nasdaq, this movement from this bottom towards the upside is way stronger than Bitcoin. So the money is you have to look at like I said, right? One big daddy is pulling up all the little children, but big daddy is going bigger and faster than the little children. So that's what's happening right now. Bitcoin is doing exactly the same thing, also moving upwards, but of course in a slower pace, because some of the money from Bitcoin is obviously also pouring into Nasdaq. But since the whole global momentum of all the markets, and definitely the traditional markets, who are leading the pack, of course, they are pulling all the little ones up as well. But of course the little ones are not going up as strong as they are. But once we get to this toppy top, once we get a little pullback from this, I'm not saying that this, like I said, I'm not bearish at all, right? This is not bearish at all. But if we do make a pullback, let's say it goes back into, you know, back into our EMA or simple 200 moving averages, then you know, Bitcoin is going to make a bigger pullback towards the downside. What are the fear and greed indexes? Okay, let's take a look. Fear and greed. Let me refresh it so that maybe there's something update. Right now we are at 61, Michael. So we are still in the greed territory. Yeah, very greedy as well. Let the BTC dominance. Okay, let me take a look on the BTC dominance. Let's take a look. I'll just make a new chart for that, or else I'll lose out on some stuff as well. BTC dominance. Market cap dominance here. So right now we are at 65.89. Wait, let me move this to the left hand side. We are at 65. Yeah, it's been going sideways, right? So it's been moving very, very sideways right now for the Bitcoin dominance, which is something that's really good for altcoins actually, and that's the main reason that that altcoins have been doing quite okay. I mean, some altcoins at least. But yeah, does this look Does this look bullish or bearish or anything like that? It's not really. I think this is going to keep on ranging, to be honest. Can we see some? Let's see if we can see something. Some triangle, maybe some triangle, maybe some triangle like this. So yeah, we might actually see some movement. Well, if it can break two ways, right? Triangle, symmetrical triangle can break towards the upside or the downside. Yeah, I would not be able to give a perfect opinion on this, to be honest. It looks sideways. Can't really can't really tell, to be honest. Very hard to say on this dominance chart. Symmetrical triangle, yeah, not sure to be honest. But if the price, I do believe that if the price gets dumped on Bitcoin, doesn't matter, right? It will hurt altcoins way more than Bitcoin. So if you are holding any Bitcoin or any altcoins, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I mean, say anything on the dominance chart. Sorry, Constant. Can't help you there. Hi, Clark. Hope you are doing well as well on this Thursday. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Whew, let's wrap it up. Still pretty much the same. We are still grinding here towards this below this support trend line. We are also near a conclusion with this apex. What am I looking at? Either a breakdown from this pattern, obviously, breakdown from this pattern, or the break up towards the upside. But I see that my moving averages are suddenly gone. Okay, so yeah, can I see? Is there something new? Oh yeah, the next new the next 4-hour candle just, oh yeah, it got rejected from the EMA 55, and it's below the 10 simple moving average right now. So if we keep the price below this, it should have at least a small drop towards like 9,135 or something like that. A $50 drop or something like that is what I'm expecting in the very short term. But yeah, very, I mean, it can easily push up from there as well. And if you do a Fibonacci retracement, you'll see how clear it is, though. Like, let's make a Fibonacci retracement. Oh, that's an extension, sorry. You can see here, beautiful here, the golden pocket. See, so what can happen is, although most likely we'll have a small push towards the downside, it can do this and then push back up as well. So nothing is concluded just yet. We'll just have to wait if this territory gets broken, yes or no. If we start closing, so if we start closing 4-hour candles below 9,100, let's say 9,100. Then most likely we'll be heading lower towards the 9,000 area. But until I see 9,100 broken with a close of a 4-hour candle, I don't think nothing much is going to be happening, to be honest. Yeah, seems like we are going to have a resolution. What day are we today? The 2nd of July. Then we have the weekend coming up, so most likely more sideways. Tomorrow, more sideways. Most likely next week. Next week. But then we are very near this apex though, so yeah. Maybe Monday or something like that. Yeah. Most probably, yeah, I guess it's going to be Monday. Let's see what happens on Saturday morning when the traditional markets close. I think we will have more information by then. So yeah, that's still my bias. I'm still biased because there is still more pressure towards the downside than the upside. But with the traditional markets pushing up, that's really hardcore. That's really hardcore. So yeah, I'll wrap it up for today here. Hope to see you again tomorrow, same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. UTC +8, and please like, share, comment, and do whatever you want to do with this channel. And until tomorrow, please stay home, stay safe, and of course,